I was wondering what you could be doing, holed up in this place. I take it that's the true form of your Zanpakuto Toad there with you.
Wrong! Haha, yeah. Hey, do you guys know about those chapters of Bleach we get every now and then that basically go back and retcon and change a fundamental fact about the series we thought we knew for several years? Well, this chapter, woo! Yeah! And when we're talking about the trolley of randomness, there is no better conductor than myself. So, take it away, because I'm gonna have fun with this one. Review 540, Chapter Bleach, Tekking101, everybody hey. Yeah, so in a surprising turn of events, yeah, we start off the chapter exactly where we left off from the last one, you know. I thought they were going to go back, you know, because like how Kubo was doing like the different training segments of each of the Gochi 13, I thought we were going to get like a little snippet of Ichigo and then go to see what, I don't think we've seen what Squad 8 or like the whole thing with Kyoraku's been going on, or Squad 13 or something, but no, we're continuing from the last chapter with Ichigo and Nimai's Hode, and he's about to craft in the swords. So he begins the construction by stating, it's time to put a show on. Crap, every time there's something going on, I never have any money. Okay, is there a fee to get in? Do I need to pay for popcorn? What? He's summoning his 5, I guess, out of the massive harem he has in the Galaxy Hode, and I guess he's summoning the 4 other Zanpakuto chicks that are apparently like unique to just crafting Zanpakuto from Asasachi, and that including Riza, the one that we've seen earlier. So they show up on the scene in a very Charlie's Angels-esque way, who then proceed to beat the crap out of him before striking an epic pose. People are turned on by different things. I don't know. I don't want to know Nimai's, you know, what he does by himself at night with the giant Zanpakuto harem, okay? I don't need to know that, but continuing, the Nimai's private escort team is in the hizzy! I think I want to go back to being a black faceless specter. Alright, so actually in a very elaborate scene, which not only showcases all the different harem chick Zanpakuto abilities, but kind of seems a little bit more elaborate than it really needs to be, Nimai absorbs the Asasachi into a form, which then gets blown by fire by Riza, who I guess is a fire-type Zanpakuto, I guess I could go like that, which leads to another member of the escort team. Escort team. Oh, I just got that. Damn, Nimai, you are... Okay, anyway, that results in her, I guess... She pours water on it, so I mean, she was crying in the previous panel. It's kind of hard to tell. I guess that's her tears that are resulting in that. And then the third one's pigtails turn into, I guess, tentacles or something, to which she grabs the Asasachi. And the last one, which is obviously the coolest and my favorite, pulls out one of her teeth, transforms it into a hammer, and then offers it to her master, who now ties his hair in a top knot, removed his sunglasses, and now actually looks kind of dignified. Time to get busy. So now we get the title page, Bleach 540, The Sword 5, which is actually a really badass title, and, you know, the cover page and everything's really neat, except for the fact that this chapter has nothing to do with these people, like, at all. Like, we get to see them very briefly to see what they each do. You know, Riza can breathe fire. Wait a second. Riza can breathe fire, that's the chick with the water, that's the chick with the tentacle pigtails, and that's the chick with the teeth and the hammer. What the hell did that little girl do? Was she just there just for, like, Lolita fan service? What the hell? So Nimai begins the construction of the sword using his hammer. Ichigo and him have a little back and forth, to which Nimai finally brings up the fact that didn't Ichigo think it was a little odd whenever he touched the Asasachi? Nimai states it turned white and it took on that image because that Asasachi represents Ichigo's inner hollow. Kind of already figured this out because just the way it looked and it resembled everything, and plus we just had the massive flashback with Isshin and Misaki and Shiro, so, you know, I knew it had something to do with Ichigo's hollow powers. I originally assumed that it was Ichigo making the dedicated choice to accept his hollow powers as part of himself. Not really quite what it was, though, but we'll get to that in a second. Apparently, Ichigo's hollow is Ichigo's Zanpakuto. Okay. I want you guys just to let that sink in for a second, and just try to push it in the back of your mind, and just forget about everything. I know you're probably recalling a bunch of instances right now where that's contradictory to that, but just hold on to it until the end of the chapter, because, yeah, we'll bring it back, but just Just follow me on this. Okay, so not only is that Ichigo's Zanpakuto and his Hollow are the same thing, but also the method of which Shiro was created by piling a bunch of Shinigami that Aizen, the method that Aizen used, is apparently extremely similar to the method the Asachi are created, which that makes even more questions, like, so what? Nimaiya lured a bunch of hapless Shinigami to his shack out in the middle of nowhere and forged them into Asa. I don't understand that. He might be referring to maybe like when the Shinigami die, because we've heard that when Shinigami pass on, their bodies kind of are released into Ryatsu and they become part of the world. So he might be referring to that. I highly doubt that. He said it's oddly similar, but he didn't say it's exactly similar. So the way Aizen did it was he killed a bunch of Shinigami and melded them into Shiro. It's probably not the same method to create Asachi, but probably very similar. He states with everything that involves Shiro with Misaki, it eventually fused with his Shinigami powers, and that is Ichigo's true Zanpakuto. Ichigo realizes the obvious contradiction to this, that that's in fact not the Zanpakuto Zangetsu that he's been apparently aware of this entire time, to which we finally get the entrance of Zangetsu for the first time in probably over 100 chapters. Probably since ever... Well, not even really. I was going to say Deicide, which we did see Zangetsu in Deicide, but, well, okay, we can't really even... I don't even know if his name's Zangetsu anymore, but basically, we saw him in Deicide, but that was when he was a lot younger, which also punches a hole in some things. Dear God, this chapter makes my head hurt. Anyway, Ichigo goes to see Zangetsu, and Nimaiya kind of monologues over him. I guess he's talking to him through his inner world or whatever. He's like, do you know that dude? Of course, he's Zangetsu. But no, apparently that's not the case. Apparently, I'm going to say Zangetsu because I don't know anything else to call him at this point because that might not be his real name. But apparently, Zangetsu is an image of Juha Bach from 1,000 years ago. That's how he looked. Ichigo does a great job of recreating the exact same face you made when you first read this. And Nimaiya finally states, closing out the chapter, that that is in fact not a Shinigami's power, that is a Quincy's power, or the representation of Ichigo's Quincy powers in his soul. So, to recap, Ichigo's Hollow is also Ichigo's Zanpakuto, and Zangetsu, the spirit we believe to be Zangetsu at this point, is not actually Ichigo's Shinigami powers. It has nothing to do with Ichigo's Shinigami powers. It is Ichigo's Quincy powers manifested in the form of Juha Bach from 1,000 years ago. This actually makes sense. Because, it would make sense because he said, your blood is within me, or, you're my son born in the darkness. It would make sense that Ichigo's Quincy powers would manifest in some way. This is his inner world, so you figure his inner world, all the powers in his inner world would make sense that, they would be, brought there. So we have Ichigo's Hollow form, and back when we thought it was his Zanpakuto, okay, these are both of his powers. So it makes sense why Zangetsu's just been hanging around in Ichigo's inner world, representing a piece of his power that he never knew he had. It also makes sense because I could be very, very off on this, but I think that every time Ichigo's Hollow and Zangetsu were kind of in the same room together, they kind of refer to themselves like, we are your power. They never directly said, Ichigo, I'm your Shinigami power, Ichigo, I'm your Hollow power, and they never directly said that. They always refer to themselves as sort of like, we are your power. Like when they melded together, when Ichigo was training in the Dongai, that's what they stated, like, we are both your power, we meld together, we are the true form of your power. So they never really directly said Shinigami, Hollow, Quincy, or whatever. So, those are the things that make sense. Here are the things that don't. First up, Ichigo learned Bankai by training with the Zangetsu that we all know right now. How can that be the case if this Zangetsu has nothing to do with Ichigo's Shinigami powers? Conversely, he learned Getsuga Tensho, another move that should be just based to his Shinigami powers. Number 3, when he became younger Tensa Zangetsu, how does that make any sense? Because if he's not even a Zanpakuto at all, why would his appearance change when Ichigo goes Bankai? I mean, I guess you can kind of say maybe he can take whatever form he wants and he just does that to lay on the act. Number 4, Ichigo's Hollow form has always been white up to this point, and Ichigo's sword and Zanpakuto and Bankai have always been black, which is the color of Zangetsu. Although I guess it would kind of make sense when you think of how the fact that Ichigo's inner Hollow had a Bankai that was white, so that might reflect Ichigo's true Zanpakuto powers that he hasn't been awakened yet, and it just doesn't make any sense, right, Gibble? I was emailed yesterday by a fan of mine, and by two fans actually. But one of the fans, actually offered to help me with German pronunciation from now on. So you know, if I have any problem involving any kind of German phrases, he's apparently going to help me with that. So you won't have to bitch at me about that much about that. But the other guy, he said he really liked my videos, but he's just kind of learning English, or he's not really that great at English yet. So he asked, you know, if I could slow down my videos, if I can stop talking so fast like I do. And I agreed that I should do that because that's a problem I've always had. And then I read this chapter. And I really couldn't do that, so I apologized to him greatly. Okay, so that's all the random stuff that flew through my head when I first read the chapter. Now here are my thoughts that I gathered after, you know, my thoughts on what could be going on here. Okay, so let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. Isshin Kurosaki, who has the Shinigami power. He met and married Masaki Kurosaki, who had the Quincy power. Okay, so far, we only have two different kinds of power. Then, they gave birth to Ichigo. However, Shiro's Ryatsu was in there, so we could just refer to him as kind of like the SED. So, his power kind of carried over to Ichigo's and kind of melded with the Hollow that was in Ichigo. So, the Shinigami powers and Hollow powers melded, so that's what resulted in this kind of hybrid. But that still leaves the Quincy powers that he inherited from Masaki, which took the image of Zangetsu or Juha-Bak's younger form. So there you go. You could always say, going back, and, you know, part of me really wants to say that Kubo did not plan this, because not only the fact that, you know, all the stuff I mentioned with the Bankai training and everything makes very little sense now, also the fact that the entire Zanpakuto mini arc, when Ichigo gets to meet Zangetsu and you know, brings him into the physical world and everything, that's a whole other issue, considering the fact that Muramasa should have brought out Hollow Ichigo instead. But whatever, that was a filler. If I start arguing about filler, then we'll be here forever. But let's just say that Zangetsu, or Juha-Bak's younger form, has some sort of hidden agenda here. You know, he has some sort of agenda. I mean, he hasn't really done anything supremely negative to Ichigo, or seen that really he like detests Ichigo at all. He always seems like he actually wants to help him out, but he lied about multiple things. And let's just say, you know, he just took this form and just told him that, you know, I am your Zanpakuto. And maybe in this sense, he was lending. This is going off on a limb here, but I'm just gonna say it. Going back off of maybe Zangetsu was giving Ichigo his Quincy powers and just disguising them as his Shinigami powers, or saying that, oh yeah, that's your Shinigami powers there, because Nimaiya stated this is not the power of a Shinigami, so any power that Ichigo received from Zangetsu would not be a Shinigami's. So maybe Zangetsu was just giving him the power of a Quincy and just disguising it as his Shinigami power, which that's a massive retcon. Like, that's going back to, like, the Substitute arc, and like changing stuff around that we've known about the series for going on over 10 years now. So, you know, I'm reluctant to say that, but yeah, that's my thoughts, that he has some other hidden agenda. And now, going to Hollow Ichigo, my thoughts on this are that Hollow Ichigo, you know, you might be thinking, like, why, okay, if he's Ichigo's true Zanpakuto power, why does he always act like he detests being at Ichigo's side? My theory is that he was never awoken with an Asachi, and that caused a kind of like a very difficult connection between Ichigo and his, what we believe to be his Hollow. Maybe that's because he always acted like such a berserker, and, you know, always showed up when Ichigo was about to die. He never really helped him out in battle. But now that Nimaiya is crafting a Zanpakuto the proper way, and, you know, putting his Hollow into an actual form that, you know, the way that happened, maybe Ichigo can better subjugate it. Maybe now, because we've left off in Ichigo's inner world, so maybe now Ichigo's finally going to ask, you know, Zangetsu about what's up, and maybe next chapter will just be a big discussion about that, because you cannot like veer off this Kubo. I mean, you can't just drop a bombshell that basically retcons essentially the entire series and just be like, okay, we're going to cut back to something else. No. You need to discuss this right now. Next chapter, you better do this, or I am going to raise hell, you hear me? So, yeah, like, I mean, I know you left out still, like, big plot points, like, we still don't know about the whole Sword Uehara thing. It's supposed to be Grimmjow, but we have no idea if it is yet. That was almost a year ago that we haven't, like, had a continuation of that. But you need to cover this. Alright, so yeah, I mean, those are my theories about Hollow Ichigo and Zangetsu. You know, but there's still so many gaps. There's still so much conjecture. I know the fandom's going to explode in the next couple days. It's just going to be crazy about the mindfuck here, but those are my immediate thoughts. I might make a whole other video about this, so look forward to that. This might be the first time in Tekking101 history where I actually have to make a follow-up video about stuff in a chapter, because this is such a bombshell. So post your thoughts below. Give me all your thoughts. I don't care how crazy they are at this point. Anything goes. You know, like Ichigo's a banana. You know, maybe that's the freaking result there. And, you know, you peel back the layer, and every layer is like a new power. I don't freaking know. Although this does help to simplify the powers, because what we had Shinigami, Hollow, Fullbring, Quincy. Now essentially we just have Shinigami with a little Hollow after effects and Quincy. So at least we narrowed them down to 2, sort of, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, might be the first follow-up video I've ever done. So post it below and I'll discuss it. Now I gotta go away to myself and I have to think about some stuff too. But damn, this is difficult. I need some freaking help on this. I don't know what I'm gonna freaking do. Ugh. What? 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 Huh.